morning, everybody. I am CA Pankaj Deshpande, welcoming you for this overview session on enterprise resource planning. Today we will be discussing about enterprise resource planning, and we will be having a brief overview on this particular topic. Let us start. As all of you know that this is online faculty development program for advanced ITT course, and we are discussing enterprise resource planning. So today's contents are concept of ERP, ERP implementation, and Tally as ERP software. So let us discuss ERP concept, ERP implementation, and how we can use Tally as ERP software. The first part of this presentation is ERP concept. Let us start. Enterprise resource planning. Let us try to understand this particular word. What is enterprise resource planning? As we all of us know that it is a common system used by all and used for all types of resource planning and utilization. Basically, it is about planning of resources for the purpose of achieving enterprise goals. So in short, in brief, we can define ERP in this way. Business units and departments, as all of us know that there are, the business is always defined or divided in some units and departments. Business is operated through these departments, and these departments may be finance, accounts department, quality control department, sales distribution department, logistics department, production planning department, production department, materials management, human resources. There may be variety of departments, but by and large these will be the departments, and these departments are interconnected with each other. They communicate with each other, and they share data with each other also. To understand functioning of these departments, let us consider a small case study. There is a customer who is contacting sales department. He is inquiring for his requirement with the sales department. Sales department is in turn communicating with stores department, and stores department is responding to the sales department. Stores department says that we do not have the stock that is required by you and that is required by the customer, so we cannot cater to your needs. Then what to do? Now it is the job of sales department to contact production planning department. Production planning department they have to plan for the production. They have to manufacture the product that is required by the customer. So again, production planning department is inquiring with stores whether we have the raw material required for manufacturing this particular product. Now, unfortunately, the raw material is not also in stock. It is not in stock, it is out of stock. Then what to do? Then the production planning department, the purchase department, they will have to contact one particular approved vendor. They have to place an order. And once the order is placed, what will happen? Order is placed, the vendor is going to deliver the goods will be received at stores, and stores will issue the goods for production to shop floor. At shop floor, the goods will be manufactured, the goods will be produced, and after the goods are manufactured, the goods required by the customer are manufactured. These goods shall be sent to stores. Stores will inform sales department, and the sales transaction will get completed. This is how the process gets completed as far as sales is concerned. But at present, the sales process is not fully completed. We have delivered the goods, but some part is still remaining. What is that part? Sales department will have to contact finance department. They will communicate with the finance department, and they will ask to prepare a bill. The sales transaction will be recorded by finance department. Now in this case, one particular thing must be there, that production planning department must in between communicate with finance department. But what generally happens, if finance department is not updated by the production department about the purchase from vendor, they will not be knowing anything about it. Finance department, if it is communicated to them by production planning department, finance department will make payment to the vendor, and all the departments will always communicate with HR department for all types of their human resource needs. This is how a small business, in case of any type of business, the transactions takes place. To understand business systems, we need to understand the two types of systems. One is a decentralized business system and other is centralized business system. Let us try to understand both the systems one by one. The features, the characteristics of decentralized systems, basically it is data is maintained by each department separately. Let us try to understand this particular concept. The data is maintained by each department separately. Department does not have access to data of other department. Every department will be storing their own data and they will be having access to their own data only. Other departments' data will not be connected with any other department. Each department will be using their own data. So let us consider the same case study once again with this particular prospect, that is with this particular respect. That decentralized system problems. What are the problems? A customer is again contacting sales department. Sales department is contacting stores. Store says that we do not have the stock required by you and required by the customer. So what to do? In this case, stores will inform sales department. Sales department will inform that we do not have that the stock required by you, the item required by you, and it will take some time. How much time? We don't know. In such case, what will happen? The customer will try to find a new vendor. He will go to the new vendor, and ultimately the deal will be completed by customer on its own, and there is a loss of revenue as well as loss of reputation for the business. Now once again, let us consider one more example. Customer is contacting sales department that I wish to buy this product from you. Sales department is contacting stores department. Store says that we do not have the stock, it is out of stock. Then what to do? Sales department will go to production planning department. They say that we do not have the raw material also to manufacture this particular item. Now what is the problem? The problem is that stores and production planning, these two departments are maintaining their own set of data separately. They are not interconnected with each other. They do not know what is the data available in stores and what is the data available in production planning department. So it is possible that even if the raw material is available in stores, the production planning department may raise a purchase order on an approved vendor once again, and this will lead to blockage of funds. Vendor will naturally supply the goods and these goods will be purchased, amount will be paid to the vendor even if we were having the stock in stores. Now production planning department, they will contact production floor, that is shop floor for production. Production floor, at present it is an urgent need, so to handle this urgent situation, the production floor department will urgently contact HR department. HR department will have to hire the employees urgently, and in such case the cost of hiring the employee as well as employee cost shall be as high as compared to the normal cost. So in this case the cost is increasing. Finance department, normally logically the production planning department should inform finance department about the purchase transaction, but what happens, as the data is decentralized, as the system is decentralized, this is not there. It is not updated automatically. So production planning department is not updating finance department about the purchase transaction automatically. They have to specifically put in effort to update. And in case they miss to communicate this particular transaction of purchase to finance department, what will happen? The vendor will go to the finance department directly for his bill payment. Finance department may say that we do not have any type of information about this particular transaction, we will have to check. So ultimately, in front of outsiders also, the vendor is an outsider. The outsider will also come to know that we do not have any type of proper system in our organization, and in such cases, the outsider will start taking advantage of this type of situation in their own interest. So the basic problem in case of decentralized system is increase in cost, increase in delay, increase in data, and increase in dissatisfaction of everybody. The stores department, the production planning, the HR, the production floor, vendors, accounts, finance, each and every department will be dissatisfied due to miscommunication or non-communication at all. What is centralized system? Let us try to understand this particular concept with the help of same example again. Customer is contacting sales department. Sales department in this case is not going to stores department directly. Why? Because we are not having decentralized system, we are having centralized system. So sales department will go directly to central database. Even if they wish to go to stores department, they have to go through central database only. Stores is connected with central database. Production planning is also connected with central database. From central database, only the production planning department will raise a purchase order on approved vendor. Vendor will supply the goods. Shop floor is also connected with central database. HR department is also connected with central database. Finance is also connected with central database. Each and every department shall be connected with the central database. So there is no duplication of work. Data is maintained centrally at one location only, and the data is updated on real-time basis. So if production planning department, if they have to check what is the position of stock of a particular raw material, they can check in central database. If stores department, they wish to check the stock position of a particular item of raw material, it is updated in central database only, and it is available in central database only. So there are no two sets of data, there is no confusion, there is no rework, there is no duplication of work. The biggest advantage of this particular system is that data is one and communication is clear. What are the benefits of ERP system? Benefits of ERP system can be classified as three: efficiency, revenue, and productivity. Efficiency, revenue, and productivity. All the three things are bound to increase in ERP system. Just like business units or departments, there are business functions. Each department has to perform their own function, and these functions can be classified as below. Business functions can be planning function, materials management, production, sales and distribution, finance and accounting, human resource, research and development. These are some of the business functions. There might be some more business functions depending on the nature of business and type of industry, but by and large, we can classify the business functions like this. Now let us discuss something about business processes, because ERP software is more and more into business processes. It is about handling the business processes, because in case of ERP system, mostly all the business processes are tried to be covered under the one roof and one central database. What is a business process? It is a combination of activities that takes some input and generates an output. So basically, let us try to understand the business process from software angle, from ERP angle. I'm repeating, it is a combination of activities that takes some input and generates an output. Here there are two aspects. One is input and other is output. We means the user will be providing some input to generate certain pre-decided output. Output is pre-decided, this type of output is expected, and the expected output must be there after inputting the standard input. And the basic one more characteristics about business process is that it creates value for customer. Rather, it should create value for customer. What is creating a value for customer? Let us discuss. And one more thing about business process, that it may spread across different functions. What is creating value for customer and what is spreading across different functions? Let us understand with a quick example. There is a customer who is approaching service department. Let us assume that we are interested in getting our car serviced. We are going to the authorized service station and we wish to contact the service department. We are into service department and we say that there is a problem in our car, that the brakes are not working properly. So what to do? Service department will analyze the problem, they will understand the problem, and they will come to know that brake shoes are not working properly, so we need to change the brake shoes. So they will ask with the stores department that do we have the brake shoes for this particular model of car. If it is available with the stores department, they will immediately issue, and if it is not available, what they will do? They will go to the purchase department. After going to purchase department, the stores department will inform purchase department that we require this type of particular material for servicing of the car, that is brake shoe. The purchase department will buy the items for stores department and they will inform that we have bought, we have placed an order, you will receive it immediately or within a day, within few days, within hours. Stores department will receive the goods, stores department will issue the material, that is the material required, spare parts required for servicing of the car, to the service department. Service department will execute the work, they will do their job, and they will inform the customer that, sir, your car is ready. This is a simple business process which we all know. Now, what is adding value to the customer? Here, the customer is informed about the process, customer is informed about the status of his vehicle, that whether it is ready or whether it is not ready, how much time it will take. So each and every activity relating to customer is done through a process. There is no gap in the process. So the process gets completed quickly and smoothly, and the customer experience is very good. Customer is happy as his car is serviced quickly. Had there been no communication or no proper communication between the departments, it would have taken much more time. Generally, it takes more time to communicate only than do any work. Integrated information systems. This is one more characteristics of ERP system. What is integrated characteristic? Integrated information system. The basic thing here is that sharing of common data. In every organization, in case of ERP environment, lot of data is created, and whenever data is created, handling the data becomes a very critical issue. So how to handle the data and how to avoid duplication of data? What is sharing of data? Let us try to understand. Material requisition is sent by production department to stores department. There is a production department, they need particular raw material, and they feel that we require a raw material, and this particular raw material, whether it is available with stores department, if it is available with stores department, stores will issue it. So material requisition is sent by production department to stores. Stores department at present, they do not have the material, so what they do? They just send their requirement to purchase department. Purchase department raises a purchase order on approved vendor. After the order is sent, material is received by the stores department after some time. Material is received by the stores department, and after receiving of material, invoice is sent to account department. This is a purchase transaction, and the purchase transaction must be updated with the finance department, accounts department also. So invoice, the purchase invoice shall be sent to the accounts department. Material is sent to the production department by stores. Please remember, now the job of purchase department as well as stores department is over, because material is reached to the production department. Production department shall start their activity, and the payment is made to the vendor by the accounts department. Now, what type of data needs to be shared in this case? Let us try to understand. Material, it is something about inventory. So inventory items, the stock items, the names of the stock items, their groups, units of measure must be saved across all the departments. When and how it is possible? It is possible only when we are sharing the common data. If the data is not shared, if there are three different sets of data, it is quite possible that the names of the stock items are different in different departments. For example, let us consider the previous case. We were discussing about brake shoe of a particular car model. So brake shoe can be written as brake, B-R-A-K-E-S-H-O-E. It can be written as brake shoe. Sometimes it can be written as brake shoe for Wagoner, brake shoe Estilo, brake shoe Honda City, brake shoe front, brake, this type of different nomenclatures can be used by different departments, and sometimes it may mean the same thing. If the master data is not common, it is bound to be different, and in this case there will not be any standardization of data, and it will create problem in communication. Sharing of common data may include two aspects. One is using of common master data. For example, name of the stock items, name of the vendors, name of the customers, it must be same across all the departments. And second aspect of sharing of common data is use of common transactions data. Common transactions data, I mean to say that whenever there is a purchase transaction, there is a purchase order. So purchase order is raised by purchase department. Goods are received by stores department. Now goods are received at stores department. How purchase department will be updated about receipt of goods at stores? That is important, because unless and until they know that we have received the goods, how they can track their purchase orders? It is difficult to track the purchase order if they do not know about receipt of material at stores. So they need to understand how much goods, whether what we have ordered, what we have received. If we have ordered 10 and we are receiving 8 items only, 8 numbers only, 2 are balanced, 2 are remaining, these 2 shall be received shortly. This type of information must be updated at purchase department also. Now at purchase department, the names of the stock items, the names of the vendors must be same, and it should match with the names of the stock items and names of the vendors that are maintained by stores department. After receipt of goods, it is the job of accounts department to make payment for purchase. Now, while making payment to a particular approved vendor, the accounts department, they must have the information about the receipt of material at stores. If they do not have the information about receipt of material, how they will make payment? It is their issue. That have we received the material? Have we received the material at stores? If yes, then only we should make the payment. So this information must be updated in accounts department also. So please remember, the data maintained by all departments shall be interconnected with each other, and each department will be using data from other departments also. Many times it is seen that sales figures given by accounts department in management review meetings, many times sales figures are asked to sales department, marketing department, and also to accounts department. And it is a general scene. Many times it is seen that the accounts department give one sales figure and marketing department gives another sales figure, and it does not match. So it will not match in case they are using two different sets of data. Working of ERP software. How does a particular software work? It is not about working of ERP software, it is working of any of the software. There is a user means human being. He is approaching the application. Application means software application. He is interacting with the software application. Software application is interacting with the database. Database is again interacting with the software application, and software application is again interacting with the user. This is how the process gets completed each and every time. Let us try to understand this particular concept with the help of a simple case. All of you must have seen Tally, and everybody must be using Tally. So if you wish to view balance sheet in Tally and you are on gateway of Tally screen, how you will check the balance sheet? Whenever you wish to generate any software as result for you, three elements are required. One is front end. Front end is a software. Another is back end. Back end is also a software. It is a database. And third element, and the most important element in working of any of the software, is a user, human being. So there must be a user to use the application to operate the software. So user, we as a user, when we are in front of the Tally screen and we wish to view the balance sheet, the shortcut key for viewing balance sheet in Tally is B. We will press the B on keyboard to generate the balance sheet report. When we press B, what happens? We are the user, we are pressing B. After pressing the B, what happens? We are interacting with the software application. Software application will not be having any type of data, and the data will be with database. Data will be fetched from database. Database will generate the desired result, the balance sheet. The balance sheet will be generated, and the balance sheet shall be sent to the application. Application will display the balance sheet to the user, and this is how the process gets completed each and every time. ERP and related technologies. There are different types of technologies which are used in case of ERP software, and these technologies can be classified, can be divided in following types. One is called as business intelligence, data warehousing, online analytical processing, product life cycle management, supply chain management, customer relationship management. These are by and large technologies which are used in case of ERP. Let us discuss one by one all these concepts. What is business intelligence? As the name suggests, it is something about knowledge and data. In case of every business, huge amount of data is created. In case of particular ERP software, huge amount of data is created. There is a difference between data, information, and knowledge. The raw data is called as data. It may not be a meaningful information. If it is converted into some meaningful information, it is called as information. And knowledge is a next step where meaningful information is converted into particular type of information which can be really used for drawing inferences and taking business decisions. So first step is data, second step is knowledge, and third step is first step is data, second step is information, and third step is knowledge. So analysis of information is a part of business intelligence. Let us consider a small case. Suppose we are running a mobile company. Mobile company means mobile service provider. We are mobile service provider. Let us take a case of BSNL. BSNL is trying to decide or introduce or launch some new policy for their customers, a change in rate, new schemes. So at the time of taking this decision, they have to take the decision on the basis of some information. BSNL has got huge data regarding calls, that during a period of particular 24 hours, how many calls are initiated. This is data. Let us assume that there are 1 crore calls on a daily basis by BSNL users. Now these 1 crore calls are to be classified into some information. For example, out of these 1 crore calls, how many calls are initiated before 10 or after 7? That is not in office hours. We are classifying these two, all the calls into two types. One is during office hours and another not during office hours, out of office hours. How many calls are initiated by male callers? How many calls are initiated by female callers? What is the duration of call? All these types of information can be analyzed using business intelligence. So while making analysis of this particular thing, we need to have data and we need to have some softwares for analysis of data. These softwares are a part of business intelligence. Second concept is called as data warehousing. Data warehousing is nothing but managing the large size data effectively. As we already know that in case of ERP software, there will be huge amount of data. Let us assume that 1000 transactions are initiated on a daily basis. To be on conservative basis, I am quoting a very small figure. 1000 transactions are initiated, generated on a daily basis, and this might be a very small figure. If there are 1000 transactions on a daily basis, 1000 into 365, there shall be 3,65,000 transactions on yearly basis. This is a very small amount of data. In case of ERP, the data size may be very high. Now, out of these transactions, if we wish to analyze the data or if we wish to segregate the data, there can be two types of data. One is called as operational data and other is non-operational data. And when the users are recording the transactions, operational data and non-operational data needs to be separated. Why it needs to be separated? Just to reduce the load on operational data. If a customer is standing in front of a computer counter, a sales counter, and if it is taking 3-4 minutes, the customer will get irritated. Why it is taking so long when I am ready to pay? Why you are not generating the bill immediately and making me free immediately? So data warehousing is actually separating the data, operational data, into two parts: operational data and non-operational data. Online analytical processing, it is again a way of analysis of data. Product life cycle management, whenever a new product is launched by any of the organization, its life cycle can be managed through ERP software. For example, product life cycle may include designing of the concept, generating of the idea, then working on the product, actually delivering the product to the customer, providing service to the customer, and ultimately disposing of the product. Let us consider a small case of Tata Nano. When this particular idea was generated, it was in very initial stages, it was in very raw stage. The idea was generated, idea was implemented, Nano was designed, it was manufactured, it was delivered to their customer. Now the servicing part is going on and it is already decided when this product will be disposed of or discontinued. How we are going to dispose of this product, and after that what will be our way of servicing the product. It is already defined, and many times it is defined in ERP software only. Supply chain management, everybody knows about supply chain management. It is about it starts right from the procurement of material to the delivery of the goods to the end user. So supply chain management can also be covered in ERP software. There are so many aspects about supply chain management. One more aspect about supply chain management is that outsider will be able to connect to your ERP software. Sometimes a purchase order may be raised directly on the vendor through the system, and this purchase order shall be converted into his or her sales order. This is possible. So ERP system is an integrated system where so many different types of people are connected with each other. Customer relationship management, this is one more concept that can be integrated in ERP as a related technology. Customer relationship management, there can be different types of CRMs, that is customer relationship management softwares, which can be attached to the ERP system. One is called as operational CRM, other is sales intelligence CRM. Different types of CRMs are there. Sometimes some particular CRM systems are directed towards providing service to the customer only. So for example, whenever we get our car serviced, we generally get the information about what is the stage of work at present as far as our vehicle is concerned. So we come to know that this much amount of work has been done, this much amount of spares are required, the approximate bill shall be this, your car will be ready by this particular date. This type of SMS keeps on coming to us through mobile, and this is possible just because of CRMs only. Many a times in case of sales intelligence CRMs, sales related data is analyzed. For example, if you are having one car and if you are having 3 family members who can drive a car, in this case, the sales intelligence CRM, this particular software will be oriented towards approaching you and and selling one more car model to you. In this case, your family background, your financial background will be analyzed by the software, your spending habits shall be analyzed by the software, and it is possible only with the help of CRM software. The next part of our today's session is ERP implementation. So far we have discussed something about the ERP concept, enterprise resource planning concept. Enterprise resource planning is a very good thing for any type of business. We must have such type of software, such type of processes. But implementing the ERP software may not be a very easy task. Rather, it is always a difficult task because it deals with so many things. Let us try to understand what is ERP implementation. ERP implementation is an activity covering all the steps required to be carried out to generate the desired result from the ERP system. There are so many steps included in ERP implementation, and whenever we start ERP implementation, some sort of result, some sort of outcome is expected, and it is there in our plan. If the ERP system is not able to generate desired output, it is considered as a failed ERP implementation. And why does ERP implementation fail? There are certain reasons, certain procedures are not followed, and this is the basic reason why ERP implementation fails. Let us try to discuss, before we discuss what is ERP implementation, let us try to discuss why does ERP implementation fail. And in software language, it is called as ERP implementation traps. Let us try to understand. Let us try to understand this with a small case study. There was a customer who approached a software vendor, software company developer, and he described his requirement in this way, that I want a tree, I want 2 ropes, and there should be a parallel platform, horizontal platform. Can you manufacture, can you design this for me? Yes, this is how the user explained the requirements. Now it is the time of project leader to understand the requirement. User explained his own requirement. So project leader understood that there is a tree, there are 2 ropes, and there is a horizontal platform, and it will be hanged like this. It was deviated. The requirements were not as specified by the user. It is deviated. This is how the project leader understood it. When it come to understanding by the analyst understood like this, and he designed in this way, that there is a tree and there are 2 ropes, there is a parallel platform, and it will swing in this way. How the analyst designed it. Business consultant understood it in this way. Program coding, when it was the time to code the program was coded in this way. There is a tree, there are 2 ropes, there is a parallel platform, horizontal platform, but it is not swinging at all. Project documentation, when it comes to project documentation, it is generally like this. Whenever the ERP implementation fails, these are the characteristics. No documentation at all. Installation, when it comes to install the project, actually installation, only tree and a rope, nothing else. Billing to the customer, it is always up, down, it goes on. Support, again, when it comes to providing the support to the implementation team, again, no support at all. And what was the actual need? This was the actual need. Many times customers do not know what is their actual need. They described in their own way, and it is the job of a person who is implementing, who is designing the system, to understand the need in a positive and a negative way also. Positive and negative way, what I mean to say, whenever a customer is saying that I want this particular thing, we must ask counter question to that customer and say that we must repeat this question, that you require this particular thing, and if you do not require this particular thing, this is my understanding, is it okay? If it is yes, then we must go ahead. So what customer really need is a very difficult question, and that question must be considered very carefully. Let us try to understand what are the steps in ERP implementation. Need assessment, this is the first step in ERP implementation. Building in-house implementation team. Step number 3, ERP system evaluation and selection. Step number 4, preparation for change. 5, data preparation. 6, actual implementation of ERP. 7, testing of ERP. 8, training and educating the related staff. 9, go live. And 10th, that is ongoing support. Support has to be given on a continuous basis till the time everybody has a confidence in the system. So by and large, we can classify, we can define the steps in ERP system implementation in this way. Let us discuss these steps one by one. Need assessment, as we have just discussed with a small cartoon example. Identify the core areas. First of all, we need to understand what are our core areas. For example, in many cases, the sales activity may be a very crucial activity, and people at some point of time may decide that we must concentrate on sales first and we must implement a sales model first. This is a matter of priority only. So we must understand what is the core area that to be taken care of first. The second step is to set the priorities. We must set the priorities. Once we set the priorities, we must standardize the processes. What is standardization of process? Let us consider a sales case. What is standardization of process? For example, if there is a sales transaction, we must record a sales order before we record a sales transaction. This is a compulsion. This is a part of process. Who will record a sales order? Who will generate it? Who will approve it? Who will pass the sales order to the stores department? Who will authorize it? All these are the matters of standardization. What should be the rules for giving credit to a particular customer? How much credit we should allow? How much means in terms of amount and in terms of period. If it is a credit for rupees 10,000, it will be approved by the supervisor. If it is more than 10,000, it will be approved by the manager. If it is for 30 days, it will be approved by the supervisor. If it is 60 days, it should be approved by a manager. These types of rules must be defined. This is something out of ERP system. It is not actually connected with the software or technology. It is out of the system. It has to be decided on a piece of paper. It has to be documented and approved by the management. And once it is approved and documented by the management, then it has to be incorporated in the ERP system electronically. Means automatically the sales order where credit period is more than 30 days, it will go to the manager directly, manager levels directly for the purpose of approval. So this is the system. Standardizing of processes. There might be so many different types of processes in any type of business, and the business processes may change according to the nature of business and type of business. Removing hurdles. In case of need assessment, we must understand what are the hurdles, and we must try to remove all the hurdles, all the possible hurdles. In this step only, the first step only, it is required. The first step, that was over the need assessment. The second step is building in-house team. Normally or naturally, the ERP implementation shall be carried out by some outsider, some external agency, software vendor, but it is our own team also. It must take part in the process of implementation of ERP. Many times there is some tussle within the team, but it should not work like the left hand picture. It should work like the right hand side picture. It should work as a team, in-house team of experts with a leader and having a clear goal. And one more thing that is important, that is the deadline. What type of feature we are going to implement by which date? It has to be decided and documented in advance. Evaluation and selection of ERP software. Again, it is a difficult job because of availability of so many different types of products in the market. What type of product will be catering to our needs mostly? This has to be analyzed, and analysis of this is extremely difficult because whenever you contact a vendor, every vendor will say that my software is the best software in the world and it is most relevant as far as your business is concerned. So before the buying of ERP software, every vendor will promise you all the things that I can provide this, I can provide that also, and we need to understand the actual requirement and we need to correlate the existing facilities and features available in the software you are evaluating. Out of so many different types of software, we have to pick one software only. Selecting and implementing ERP software, I would rather say that it is just like marriage. Whenever we decide to get married, we are very much careful. And what is the criteria? Whenever we select a particular bride or groom, we put in a lot of efforts in research. We put in a lot of efforts in finding out the best option for us. So same is the case with ERP implementation also. The process of marriage can be reversed, but with great amount of difficulty. It takes a lot of time, money and efforts to get married as well as to get divorced also. So same is the case with ERP implementation also. Whenever we decide about ERP implementation, please remember what we require. It is just like marriage, and we continue with the software for a longer period of time. We expect to be continued with the software for a longer period of time. We do not expect that we are going to change the software in the next year or second year. So what we expect from ERP implementation, the ERP software must be a reliable software. And second thing, it should be as per our requirement. It should match with our requirement as far as possible. It should be a user-friendly software. The user must be happy to use this software. It should make their experience very good experience. It should be versatile. Whatever we require, it should provide the facilities. It should be a fast software. It should not take much time. It should be intelligent. Intelligent means whatever we are expecting, it should provide. It should be beautiful. The font, the color, the design, forms. It should be beautiful and pleasant for user. It should be compatible. Compatibility means, I mean to say that the connectivity with other software applications, other software platform. For example, import and export of data from and to Excel, converting the data into XML format, PDF format, JPG format. This type of compatibility is necessary. We require all these facilities, and at the same time, we wish to have it at affordable price. It should be a cost effective, last but not the least. The fourth step in ERP implementation, that is preparing for change. This is again not connected with the software, not connected with the technology. It is about handling the emotions of users. Whenever there is a change, there is always a resistance to change. The resistance to change is a human nature, and it is bound to be there. People generally say that the old system was very good system. Why we are changing this system? We were very much happy with the old system. The new system is not so good. It is troubling us a lot. It is disturbing our work. So whenever there is ERP implementation, the basic issue is that people are forced to change. First thing, they are not happy with the change. And second thing is that people are, in most of the cases, are forced to work with both the systems simultaneously, because the old system cannot be stopped immediately. Until we get some confidence in the new system, the old system is continued as it is. So in such case, what happens? The people are required to put in more amount of efforts, more amount of time in getting the things done. So it irritates user, and the user irritation has to be handled emotionally only. The next step in ERP implementation is data preparation. You might have seen cookery shows on television. Just try to imagine the scene in a cookery show. In a case of cookery show, the person, the chef, the cook, who is giving you a demonstration of a particular item, preparing a particular food item, what he will do, he will be having all the required material ready with him. Each and every small issue is taken care of, and all the material required is generally kept ready so that the time is not wasted. As far as ERP implementation is concerned, we may use this particular thing in a case of our implementation. What we required in ERP implementation, we can keep it ready for our preference. For example, if you are shifting from old system to new system, there might be so many different types of facts, figures, data, ledger, stock items, which may not be transferred to the new system because it is not applicable in today's case. For example, in case you are dealing in technology products, computers, mobiles, electronic items, you purchase one particular stock item, you create it as a master data, and in this case, it is created forever. You created that master data, you purchased that stock item, you sold it, and now it is available. It is not available with you. The stock item has got zero balance with you, but still it is continued for long period of time because we need not bother. We do not bother to consider this particular point that is it really needed today. We may delete that item also. So first of all the existing data may not or cannot or should not, need not be transferred to the new system. Prepare the data that shall be transferred to the new system. For example, old customers who are no more dealing with us, old stock items in which we are not dealing at present today, did not be transferred. This will reduce the data size. Now it is the time to implement the ERP software actually. We will install the software, we will configure the software, and we will set all the features on. There may be some deviation from planning while implementing because it may take some time. There may be a gap in planning and implementing the software. And in case of planning, we may miss some particular points. These points may be added later on. In case of planning, we may miss some particular points, and these points may be deducted, removed later on. During the working process, we may understand that this could have been done in a better way, so we will change the process, we will little bit deviate from the process. This is possible. So this is natural, and some sort of deviation is bound to be there. There is nothing wrong in it. But one thing must be kept in mind. Core areas and set priorities. Please remember, we had already planned about core areas and we have already set our priorities. These priorities and core areas must not change at all. This must remain the same. After the implementation of the software, implementation means installation of the software. It is now time to test it. Testing shall be done by whom? Who will test? First, the software shall be tested by implementers, the team of persons who are implementing the software. This will be the first level of testing. Second level of testing shall be done by in-house implementation team. These are our people. To some extent, they are techno-savvy people. They understand the system in a better way as compared to the actual user. So they will be testing the system as per their need. And third level of testing shall be done by actual users. Once all these three levels of testing is over, our software shall be ready. The testing shall be done by first implementers, then by in-house implementation team, and then by actual users. Once the software passes all these three levels of testing, then what is to be done? Now it is time, the system is ready. Now we will be providing training and we will be educating the users of the system. Training and educating may be a continuous activity. Initially, there will be a lot of time and efforts required for training purpose, and gradually the efforts required for providing the training and educating people will get reduced gradually. Once the training is over, now it is time to go live. Go live means actually working with the system. All 8 steps are over, and now we can start actually working with the system. As I have told you earlier, in step number 4, that is handling the emotions, many a times users are forced to work on both the systems simultaneously, as everyone cannot have the confidence in the new system immediately from the first day. So users are required to put in more amount of effort, more amount of time to make the system work, because they have to work with both the systems simultaneously. Again, at this point of time, some amount of emotional issues may arise, and these to be handled very carefully. The last point in ERP implementation is providing continuous support. Support is extremely necessary. Providing support is a continuous job. Support shall be provided in three parts. One is troubleshooting. Some problems are bound to be there in case of ERP implementation. Some feature may not work correctly even after rigorous testing, because testing shall be done in laboratory like environment. Actual testing shall be done during actual working only. So there might be some sort of troubleshooting. There might be upgrading the system by adding some new features, changing the processes, changing the way we were working. And sometimes some amount of training is required for upgrading the system. The upgradations made in the system must be explained to the users properly so that they are able to handle these issues smoothly. So these were by and large the 10 steps of ERP implementation. There is one more concept about flexible and rigid. What I mean to say by flexible and rigid? The upper picture discusses about flexibility, and the lower picture discusses, it is depicting some sort of rigidity. Your software, the ERP implementation, the software should be most flexible as well as most rigid. What I mean to say? A software should be most flexible as well as it should be most rigid. What I mean to say? I mean to say that the software should be most flexible for the person who is designing the system, and it should be made most rigid for the user who is actually using it. For example, we were discussing about the sales process. Unless and until we record a sales order, we should not record a sales bill. This is a process. So this type of flexibility is needed. This type of flexibility is needed for the person who is designing the system. That there should be a facility for creation of sales order. There should be a facility for creation of delivery note. There should be a facility of creating sales bill, and all these should be interlinked. That sales bill shall be connected. It should be based on delivery note. Delivery note should be based and connected with the sales order. So this flexibility is needed, but this flexibility is needed for the person who is designing the system, and this flexibility is absolutely not needed for the person who is using the system. For the person who is using the system, it should be most rigid, that unless and until he records a sales order, sales bill shall not be generated in any case. So this type of rigidity is required to make ERP implementation successful. And if there is no such type of rigidity for user, the user will always enjoy the freedom of not recording a sales order before recording the sales bill. Everybody is interested. In our case, everybody is interested in enjoying the freedom. Whatever type of rights and facilities are given to the users, every user tries to enjoy all the rights and facilities. Before we discuss this point, last point, tally as ERP, there are certain issues. That is the role of a chartered accountant, how a chartered accountant can play important role in ERP implementation. What is chartered accountant's role? Let me discuss. A chartered accountant can play a very important role in ERP implementation in three stages. One is before the implementation, second stage is during the implementation, and third stage is after implementation. In all the three stages, a chartered accountant can really play a very good role in ERP implementation. For example, let us consider a case of what a chartered accountant can do before implementation. Before implementation, the basic job of a chartered accountant is to understand requirements. Understanding the requirements. Please remember how a chartered accountant can play important role in understanding the requirement. A chartered accountant is an auditor. He is expert in auditing as well as in accounting. He is in a better position to understand the system. He understands the business of the client. So in such case, by virtue of his expertise in accounting field, he is always in a better position to understand what are the user needs, what are the requirements of a particular customer. And in this case, it is very easy for a chartered accountant as compared to other people to understand the requirement. So documentation of requirements can be done very well by chartered accountant, and connecting the client with the software vendor is again, this can be done by chartered accountant very easily. Licensing part can be done by chartered accountant very easily and effectively. Second step is during implementation, that is what type of internal control we wish to place into the system. This type of matter can be dealt with by chartered accountants very easily. Controls are the basic integrated part of any of the ERP system. As you know that ERP system is a system where there are large number of users. Large number of users means maybe more than 1,000, maybe in thousands. So in such case, the controls are extremely needed and controls must be placed very carefully. Controls may be regarding two things. One is about using the system and one is about procedures. Procedures means these procedures are to be followed in the system necessarily, and these will be the controls if you do not follow the system. Access controls are also needed. The access controls can be defined and designed by the chartered accountants by virtue of again their expertise in accounting field. The third step, that is after implementation. After implementation, again a chartered accountant can play a very good role in analyzing the system, what we had planned and what we have achieved. This can be compared by the chartered accountant very easily. Again, when it is a matter of training, chartered accountants are always good at training, as all of you know. So they can provide a good training to the users. Now let us discuss something about Tally as ERP. Can we really call Tally software ERP software? Some people say that Tally is not ERP software. It is a software meant for small businesses only. You cannot use it as ERP because ERP is a very big concept and Tally is not capable of using it as ERP. We as faculties for this advanced ITT course, we must understand what is the pros and cons of Tally software. What can be done in Tally and what cannot be done in Tally. As a matter of faculty, we must understand, because many times it may happen that a student may argue with you, he may discuss his own issues with you, that sir or madam, that Tally, how can we use Tally as ERP software? First of all, can different users be created in Tally? Yes, definitely. You can create any number of users in Tally and you can set access for each and every user separately and independently. User-wise need to know and need to do access can be given very easily in Tally. So it is a part of ERP system. Yes, it is possible. Can we force a user to follow the pre-decided procedure in Tally? Yes, definitely it is possible in Tally. Just like ERP system, that whenever we discuss about ERP system, we can always force a user to follow the specific procedure. Just like we were discussing about the sales order processing, sales order must be prepared before recording a sales transaction. This is the procedure. We can force a user to create a sales order. Unless and until a sales order is created, the sales bill cannot be generated. This type of forcing can be done. So Tally software can be made a rigid software for user. The second aspect of ERP is using the software, accessing the data from different locations. Whether it is possible in Tally to access the data from different locations. Yes, definitely it is possible, and it is possible with the help of Tally.net feature. This is a new feature introduced by Tally recently. Recently means some years back, and just because of this feature, they were able to name their software as Tally ERP 9. Otherwise, it was Tally 5.4, Tally 7.2, Tally 8.1, and Tally 9. After adding this particular feature, that is remote login feature, they have renamed their software as Tally ERP 9. What is this remote login feature? Let us try to understand. There are different users. These users are connected to the Tally data which is stored locally in the Tally server, and the Tally server is in our own office only. The data is in our office and they are connected with the Tally server in a LAN. So they are accessing the Tally data locally. If there is a user who is a remote user and he has to access the data, what he will have to do? He might be a local user for some other location, but at present for this particular data, he is a remote user. So what he will do? He will access the Tally.net server first, and Tally.net server will access the Tally data. So through Tally.net server, the remote locations can also access the data, Tally data, which is not stored in their own office. This feature is called as a remote login feature in Tally, and this is a part of ERP system, that whenever we are not in office, still we can access the data. We may have different branches, different locations, different units, and these units will be communicating with the central database. As we have discussed in the initial part of this session, there is a decentralized system and there is a centralized system. In case of centralized system, the data is stored centrally, and in this case also the Tally data can be stored on a central location, and common data can be used jointly by all the users, and that too simultaneously. So remote login feature is a part of ERP system. There is one more system in Tally. What is that? That is called as synchronization. What is synchronization? It is again a different style, different way of communicating within the offices, communicating between the branches. Let us assume that there are some locations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 locations. These are the 10 branches, and we are having some people working on these branches. We are having a head office, and we wish to store all the data at head office location only. What happens? These branches are willing to connect to the head office. How they will connect? Again, here they can connect through Tally.net server only. So all the locations will connect to Tally.net server, and Tally.net server will in turn connect to the head office. What is the difference between synchronization and remote login? There is a little difference between synchronization and remote login. What is it? Let us try to understand. In case of remote login, the data is stored at one location only, and all the users are required to connect to that particular location. Let us assume that we are storing the data at head office, and all the users are trying to connect the data, trying to connect with the head office to get the data. They cannot start their working unless and until they are connected to the head office. So the basic requirement in this case is that continuous internet connectivity is required. If internet connectivity is breaked at any one particular location, there will be a disruption in the connection. So they will not be able to connect to the head office, and they will not be able to work at all. This is the system followed in remote login. In case of synchronization, there is a change in the system. Here also we require the internet connection, but internet connection is not required continuously. It may be for 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes during a day only. What happens in synchronization? Let us try to understand. Now the data is stored at head office. Head office stores the data. What about location 1? Location 1 is also storing the data. Let us assume that we are having a branch in Mumbai and head office in Delhi. The head office is storing the data for head office as well as Mumbai branch. The Mumbai branch is storing the data for Mumbai branch only. The data created at Mumbai branch or data relevant to the Mumbai branch shall be stored at Mumbai branch. Similarly, we are having a branch at Kolkata, Chennai, Lucknow, Kanpur, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and so on. So every branch will be storing their own set of data at their own location. This data shall be transferred automatically to head office on a regular basis. What do you mean by regular basis? Regular basis means you can transfer each and every voucher immediately after it is saved. Or alternatively, you can send the data in batches. For example, if you decide to transfer the data on a daily basis, once in 24 hours, it can be sent by just pressing a click. You may click one particular option in Tally, and the complete data will be transferred to head office data, and it will be merged in the head office data. The data transfer speed of synchronization is generally approximately 100 vouchers per minute. So you can transfer the data at this speed. How do you consider this speed? Is it slow or fast? I think it is moderate speed, it is good speed. So if, let us assume that we are recording 1000 vouchers at one location on daily basis, how much time it will take? Normally it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to transfer the data. So internet connectivity is required for only 10 to 15 minutes. And in this case, what will happen? You can disconnect the internet connectivity after the synchronization is over, and you can start working with your own system. Your data will be stored at your location only, so there is no internet connection required to start the working. You can create the data, you can save the data, whatever you like with the data you can do, and that too with full speed, because the data is stored locally and the speed is very good in this case. So synchronization requires licensing at all the locations. Remote login does not require licensing at all the locations. So comparatively, remote login is a cheaper option and synchronization is a costlier option. These are the two aspects of handling the data, large size data in Tally ERP 9. These are the advantages. No need to have internet connectivity, continuous internet connectivity. data is stored locally, and just because of this reason the data is stored locally, the speed of operation is quite good. There is a data is stored in a distributed way. All types of data shall be stored at one location at head office, and the other branches data shall be stored at the branch, so the load on branches is reduced. This was something about ERP concept from my side. I am ending my session at this point of time, and if there are any questions, I will be happy to discuss the issues which you are raising. There is a question, I am able to read it. Please tell us about audit checkpoints to be incorporated in ERP. This is a question by CA Debashish Banerjee. Debashish ji, this question is okay, but I think this question must be asked in a particular context, that please tell us about audit checkpoints to be incorporated in ERP. There are some standard set of audit checks which must be incorporated in every ERP system, and there are some case-to-case basis audit checks. We will be discussing few standard audit checks, and if you could tell me the specific case, specific type of business, I will be able to discuss those issues only. Now, a very simple issue. If we are discussing about Tally ERP 9, Tally ERP 9 provides a facility to delete a voucher. People sometimes may call it as a facility, or some people may call it as a problem also. It is not a facility, it is a problem. It is a negative point about Tally, that in Tally vouchers can be deleted. As I have told you earlier, that the software should be flexible for the person who is designing it, and it should be most rigid for the person who is using it. We may have a system in Tally that the voucher, once it is created, it will not be deleted after that, and it will not be deleted by anybody. This type of system can be set, this type of control can be set in Tally. One more control can be set in Tally, that if you want to print a voucher, it must be saved before printing. Nobody should be able to print a voucher unless and until it is saved. This is a very small issue, but many a times ignored. Let me share one particular case of my client with you. I was having a client and he's a doctor client running a hospital, and as all of us know that in case of hospitals, a lot of receipts are there in cash. There was an accountant who was recording cash transactions. If there is a bill of rupees 10,000, he used to record the bill as rupees 10,000. He used to take a printout of the bill, and he used to give the printout of the bill to the customer without saving the voucher. After giving the bill to the customer, he used to receive the cash from the customer, that is the patient, 10,000 rupees cash received, and once the cash is received, as the voucher is not saved, he used to either change the voucher amount or he used to delete the voucher itself. That is without saving the voucher, taking printout without saving the voucher. What happens due to this? The accountant started accumulating the cash gradually, and one fine day the doctor noticed that I had sent the bill for rupees 10,000 and I have not received the amount, the exact amount. Then the doctor started inquiring, my client started inquiring about it, and later on this particular matter was exposed. And when this matter was exposed, it was found that more than rupees 20 lakhs have been siphoned away by the accountant. So this is a very small issue. Many times it is ignored. After this issue was raised with the Tally, and Tally added one more feature in their system, that there is a feature where you can prevent a voucher to be printed before it is saved. Now there are three aspects here. One, the printing should not take place unless and until the voucher is saved. Voucher saving is the second aspect, and once you save the voucher, it should not be deleted or altered. So this type of control we need to put in the system. This is a very small issue. Actually, audit checkpoints to be incorporated in ERP is a very big issue, and we can have a separate session on this particular issue. I hope your question is answered to some extent. If you wish, we can have a quick demo of this facility also. Let me go to Tally Software. This is a Tally Software. This is a company. I am opening this company from admin ID. And let me show this can be done to you. I am pressing Alt F3, that is company info. Going to security control. Types of security. Operator. This is the security level. This is the option. Set alter rules for print before save. By default, this option is no. I am making it yes. Allow the following voucher types. Print vouchers before save. Allow the following voucher types. I am allowing one voucher contra. This contra voucher is irrelevant as far as cash transactions are concerned. Cash deposited in bank, cash withdrawn from bank, these transactions are recorded in contra. And on right hand side, what I am doing, you can here specifically disallow a particular voucher which will not be printed unless and until it is saved. So it is always advised to select all voucher types. I have selected all the voucher types and set it like this. I am saving this. Now one more thing which we need to do to prevent deletion of voucher. Once again, I am going to this security control operator, and what I am saying, I am saying alter vouchers. I am preventing voucher alteration. Any type of voucher alteration shall be prevented. So if you are preventing voucher alteration in Tally, it will always include voucher deletion also. I am just preventing. Please remember this particular operator. I have changed for this particular operator. Now I am saving. I am going to users and password. I have set this security level for this particular user. Rasika is the name of user, and Rasika has been given the security level for operator. Now let us try with this. I am pressing escape. I am shutting the company by pressing F1, or I can alternatively click here, select company. I am opening the company, Rasika, Rasika. There was no password. Now let us check whether Rasika can open the voucher and delete it. I am going to display and debook. This is the voucher. No access allowed. And look at this delete button. This delete button is in gray. It means that it is disabled, and you cannot press this button. You cannot alter D. You can press alter D and you cannot delete this voucher. If I try to open this voucher for alteration, again it is not allowed. No access allowed. So this appears to be a very small issue, very petty issue, but actually it is a very important issue. People generally say that Tally cannot be utilized like ERP software. We must discuss something about softwares like SAP or Oracle. It is always well and good to discuss about SAP and Oracle, but definitely as a matter of ERP system, we can always use Tally as a role model, and we can always show students a demo of ERP system using Tally software only. Tally is a most flexible software. We have to make it a rigid software for users. We were discussing about controls in Tally. Variety of controls are needed in ERP system. There are some issues about data safety also. We as a chartered accountants, we as a faculty must be aware about data safety. How to ensure data safety in Tally? I am just minimizing. Before minimizing, let me show you what is the data path for this particular folder. C:program files tally.erp9 and tally data. This is the place, this is the location from where I am accessing the data. I am minimizing this and I am going to this particular place.
One second.
My computer, C:program files, tally ERP9 and tally data. This is the path. These are the folders of Tally company. How to convert Tally ERP9 into actual ERP software? Tally is actually a very vulnerable software. It is high risk prone software. If we are not preventing voucher alteration and deletion deliberately, it will always allow you to alter and delete the vouchers. And it is a very sensitive matter as far as the ERP system is concerned. We as a chartered accountant, we as a faculty must be aware about the data safety aspect in case of Tally. This is the folder. If you press delete button here, what will happen? The folder will get deleted. No matter how much safe is your data as far as Tally software is concerned, how much security you have placed into Tally software. At present, we are not working in Tally software. We are out of Tally software, and this is a matter of Windows. Please remember, from Windows, anybody can delete this Tally data folder very easily. So can we prevent deletion here also? Yes, definitely we can prevent deletion of folders also. For that purpose, we need to have different softwares which are window-based softwares and which will prevent folder deletion. So these softwares need to be installed to ensure that there is no accidental or deliberate deletion of data. So unless and until we are doing it, we cannot use Tally as ERP software. Just by saying that Tally is not an ERP software does not make it as a non-ERP software. It has to be converted into ERP software. And practically all types of ERP softwares are like this only. They are into raw format. We have to assemble all the elements in the software as per our need. We have to configure, we have to customize the software, we have to change the software as per our need, and we can definitely make any ERP software to make work for our purpose, and definitely it is possible in Tally also. There is one very big issue and big question that is generally asked by students to faculties. I will also like to discuss this particular issue. How much data can be handled by Tally software? What is the comparison? What is the pros and cons of Tally and SAP? This question is generally asked by students. How you are going to answer this question? Again, this is not a specific question, so there cannot be any specific answer, but definitely we can discuss this question with the students. What is the data size that can be handled effectively in Tally? Let me share my example with you. I am working on Tally data with more than 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs vouchers. So in such case, Tally can handle this data, but some amount of care need to be taken in such case. Recently, Tally has introduced one more software that is called as Tally Server 9. This Tally Server 9 software can be attached to your regular software, Tally ERP 9 software, and this will increase your data handling capacity. If you are not using Tally Server 9, still you can handle 2, 3, 4 lakhs size vouchers in a single company in a single year. But if you are able to attach Tally Server 9 software to your regular Tally software, Tally ERP 9 software, definitely the data size, data handling capacity of the Tally can be increased in multiples. Naturally, the data handling capacity of SAP or Oracle is quite large. It is very large. It cannot be even compared with Tally. But in many cases, we can increase the data size of Tally, and definitely we can use Tally software as per our need. And as far as training is concerned, we can definitely give all types of demo to our students and make them have a feel of ERP system. For example, we can use purchase order processing, we can use sales order processing, we can use bill matching system, that is all the sales bills, all the receipts are marked against sales bills, all the payments are marked against purchase bills only. If there is no purchase bill, the payment cannot be made without a blank reference. So this type of controls definitely can be ensured in Tally ERP 9. Let us check whether there are any more questions. As all of us know, we were discussing about sharing of common master data during the discussion of ERP. Sharing of common data is again a very critical issue, very typical issue. Data can be stored in two parts. Generally, data is stored in two parts. One is called as master data, other is called as non-master data. As you can see on this Tally screen, this is a master's menu, accounts info, and inventory info menu. These are the two types of master data. There can be one more type of master data that is called as payroll master data. I am just enabling payroll. Just a minute. I am enabling payroll. One more menu will appear here now. Look at this: accounts info, payroll info, and inventory info. These are the three types of master data. Below that, you are getting transactions. So there can be three types of transactions: accounting transactions, inventory transactions, and payroll transactions. Transaction data can be classified in three types. Master data can be classified in three types. In any cases, the master data shall always be a sensitive data. It is a permanent data, not a temporary data, not expected to change frequently. So we must have a control over master data. How we can put a control over master data, and what type of control is supposed to be put on master data. For example, the ledger names, once created, should not be changed by anybody. And if there is any change, it has to be with some approval only. So this type of control can be ensured. How to ensure this control? I'm just pressing Alt F3. Then I'm going to security control menu. Then I'm going to types of security. There is an operator, there is an accountant, there is a manager. For operator, we do not wish the operator to change the master data. So what we need to do? Here we need to set disallow access, disallow create oblique alter accounts master. We have already set it. Disallow create oblique alter accounts master will not be allowed. At present, we have not set inventory masters disallow. So inventory masters can be altered, can be created, can be deleted by this particular user, but accounts master will not be altered or deleted. Let us check whether it is working. And let us log in with Rasika's ID. Select accounts info. I am going to ledger. Create and alter options are disabled, so this particular user is not able to create or alter. But he or she definitely can have a look at these master data. He can definitely have a look, and he cannot change. He cannot change anything here. Let us try whether he can delete the voucher. Look at this particular delete button. It is disabled. It will not work here. So control over master data is extremely necessary, because master data, just by changing the master data, so many types of frauds can be committed. Let me share one example again of my client, how frauds are committed through accounting data. If controls are not placed in accounting data, many types of frauds can be committed, and if controls are there, many types of frauds can be prevented also. For example, let me show how it can be done. I am once again shutting the company. I am opening the company from admin ID. At present, in this case, I am able to alter master data. Alter. Let me create a data account. Data 1 under sundry debtors. This debtor is having opening balance of rupees 10,000 debit. I am creating one more debtor. Debtor 2. This sundry debtor is having 1 lakh rupees debit. Please look at this difference in opening balance. I will remove this difference in opening balance by adding something to capital. Capital account. Now there is no difference. Look at the balance sheet. Balance sheet is tallied. There is no difference. All the opening balance are entered correctly. What happens? Whenever we chartered accountants, we auditor, whenever we start audit, what do? We generally start with checking of opening balances. We check all the opening balances, and once the checking of opening balance is over, we never go back and check it again. Many a times we check few opening balances only. For example, we check cash, we check bank, we check total of debtors. There might be 10,000 debtors in the list of debtors, and sometimes in many cases we do not bother to check all the debtors. Even if we check all the debtors one by one, once we check it, we never go again and check it, because there are 10,000 debtors. 10,000 debtors may have a balance of rupees 10 crores in all. We check just the total of rupees 10 crores and we put a tick and we go ahead. Frauds, how people commit the fraud. For example, I am going to accounts info, ledger and alter. This is debtor 1, and this debtor is one of the debtor out of the list of 10,000 debtors. I have to pay rupees 10,000 to this debtor. This debtor is my friend. I am very much close to him. What I am doing? I am making this 10,000 as rupees 1 lakh. As soon as I make it 1 lakh, there is a difference. There is a difference of rupees 90,000 in the balance sheet. This is difference in opening balance. Now I have to adjust this difference. If I am not adjusting, it will bring immediate attention of the auditor why this difference is there. Now what I will do? I will again go to this accounts info, ledger and alter. I will go to debtor 2. I am not having good relations with debtor 2. So what I am doing, instead of 1 lakh, I am making it 10,000. At the time of making payment, what will be done? The accountant will check the balance in ledger account, balance in debtor account. Debtor 1, it should have been rupees 10,000, but I have changed it to 1 lakhs. So 1 lakh payment shall be made to this particular debtor 1. Debtor 2, there may be some miscommunication with debtor 2. Debtor 2 may raise his voice. He may say that I do not have rupees 10,000. You do not owe rupees 10,000 to me. You owe 1 lakh to me. There may be some litigation. Let that litigation go on. But what will happen? The fraud is committed just by changing the opening balance, and it is very difficult even for auditor to notice this fraud just because of huge size of data. So please remember, control over master data is a necessity, and we must have as much control as possible on master data as well as transaction data. So friends, this was one of the part of advanced ITT faculty development program. I am associated with this particular activity since last few years, and I am always happy to be part of this program. I am always happy to be associated with Board of Studies. So I thank all of you for patient hearing, and at the same time I thank Board of Studies also for giving me this opportunity, and I assure all of you and Board of Studies both that I will always be available in the interest of profession whenever I am needed. Thank you very much.